Hey, it's Jag, and welcome to the first video in my entry for the Great Guitar Build-Off 2022. Doing something a little different for my channel and doing some woodwork. Going to build a guitar. I've entered the Great Guitar Build-Off 2022. Today I'm going to select materials, make a rough plan on what I'm going to do, and sort of detail some of the features I want to put into this guitar. As I said in my introduction video a few weeks ago, I'm entered in the kit category. I'm just not comfortable enough yet with my woodworking skills to attempt a neck. So I will be using a kit neck this year. I am building the body from scratch, and I'm basing it on the guitar I mentioned that I had reshaped a few years ago. I'll show you some of that in a little bit when we get to the plan for the design of the guitar. I have some very definite ideas on what I want to do. But we'll start with the material selection for the body. I've got some really nice ash here. I bought a few years ago, actually. I bought a board about 12 feet long and cut it up in enough to make about, I guess three body blanks. I did kind of do some prototype testing a few years ago on a body for a guitar. I have enough of this left for 2 blanks, so I figure that's also a good thing, sort of hedging my bets, and if I mess up on one, I can always move over to the other blank. I have my first 2 pieces of wood that will be for the blank, and you can see that I've already decided which side I would like for the face. I elected to go with the rings on the outside. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I just kind of like the idea of the grain going straight up the middle here, and then having the rings off to the side here. Of course, a lot of this will get carved away and sanded away when I make the body. This is the first blank. It's ash. It's quite heavy. I like ash guitars. They feel good to me. I like a little bit of a weightier guitar. This might be a little too weighty, so I may do some chambers in this. So as you can see, I've got to joint this so it can fit together. I don't have a jointer. Obviously, I have a saw stop contractor saw here, and I do have a fine finishing blade for this saw. And I have jointed things on this saw before, and it worked out very well. I also have over behind me my router table, and I have a 2-inch cutter that I've used to do jointing, actually, of several guitar bodies before when I was sort of learning the techniques, and that worked out really well. The oldest one I have I did about 5 or 6 years ago, and it sealed up really tight. There's been no sign of it coming apart. It's not a functional guitar anymore. I was just playing around. But my plan is, since I'm doing 2 blanks, I'm going to joint one here on the saw stop with my fine finish blade, and the other one I will joint using my router table. So we'll see how both of those stand up. So that's the first set of pieces for the body blank. The next set are pretty much the same thing. I'll show them to you. And I haven't decided 100% which one of these body blanks is going to be my prime one, or the one I definitely want to use, or at least start with. I think it's probably this one for a couple of reasons. It's not going to require as much work to joint. It almost fits together right. There's just a little bit of a gap up at the top here. So I can just skim a little bit off. This would be the one I will do on my router table, and that should joint up really nice. I also like the way the grain looks a little bit better with the top of the rings coming up here. That will be at the bottom of the guitar. So I think this is going to overall look nicer. I should say for this guitar, I'm not too worried about the face of it, because I will be putting a flame maple cap on top. But on the back, I still think it should look good. So if I turn this over, obviously we can see that The jointing is definitely needed because the gap's a little bit bigger down here, so it goes at an angle, I guess. Like I was saying, I just like the way the grain of the wood looks on the back and the way these rings will come out at the sides. So I think it'll have an interesting look on the back, and I'll have that flame maple top. In the introduction video I did, I sort of pointed out that I had the flame maple, the wood for the flame maple top sitting behind me. I've got it over here. I've actually got enough to do 2 guitars. I haven't really decided which is my favorite piece yet. I think this one, it actually already is jointed on this side. I like the way this looks better this way. Like I say, it's been jointed on this side and would need to be jointed again anyway because there's some damage down one side here. This was given to me, and obviously there's some mistakes here. So what I'm going to do is trim and joint this on this side up here. I particularly like the way the grain looks up here. That would be really nice at the top of the guitar. I might not need to worry too much about this damage down here. It looks like I've got enough for a top up here. So I may actually cut this down and just use this as the top. So far this is my favorite 2 pieces for the flame maple top for this guitar. Keeping with my theme of always having a spare, I do have some extra flame maple, and there's some quite nice figuring on it, especially right down here. Again, we got a bit of a gap. Again, it was jointed on this side already, and I would have to rejoin it anyway. And I like the way the flame goes like this. There's a couple of interesting spots I can use for this for a top. I like the way it looks down here. And the flame is really nice and a little more pronounced here. Up here, I also like, this would be the bottom of the guitar if I use this piece. I like the way it all goes here. And I think it would be different to have your flame going up toward the top of the guitar instead of toward the bottom bout of the guitar. I don't know, my mind could change on that, but looking at this, I'm kind of liking this too. So I'm going to have to make a decision on what I'm going to use for the top, but I've got some good choices, I think. So that's my material choices for the body. As I said, I'm entered in the kit build category. I'm not too confident in my ability to build a neck, although I've got 6 months to finish this project, and I may try my hand at it. I'm comfortable enough with most of my woodworking skills that I think I could pull it off. And as I was going through things out here in my garage, I have a lot of wood I've collected over the years. I have some friends that are professional cabinet builders and interior millwork designers and builders. So one day I noticed at one of my friend's shops that his bin of offcuts had all this great wood in it. It was all too small for them to use in things they were doing, but it was all perfect size wood for things like necks and bodies. Somewhere up there, I've got quite a few blocks of actually 2-inch thick maple up there. So I may make a maple guitar at some point, chambered for sure, because that's heavy. I've got some nice flame maple. I've got cherry. I've got lots of oak. I've got a ton of wood here. I gave him $100 for his pizza fund for his staff, and they loaded me up. So I got that. Also, another friend of mine, Dale Winhold, who's also in the GGBO this year. He's in the scratch build. He actually gave me the flame maple for the tops, and he gave me a whole bunch of great wood for fingerboards. So I was going through all of my wood here, trying to decide what I might use. And I found some stuff I forgot I had. So first of all, as far as necks, I found this piece of, here you can see that there, this piece of flame maple. It is just spectacular. It looks really nice, particularly right up along here. So I might try to make a neck with this. It's a little over, it's about 1.25 inches thick, so it should be good enough for a neck. I don't think it's quite long enough or thick enough to do a headstock on it. I could do something, scarf joint with something, or who knows. Actually, let me check. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the neck I'm planning, the kit neck I'm planning on using, and I'm just sort of comparing it. And yeah, definitely all of this is long enough to make a neck, with the exception of this one short piece I got down here. So I could definitely make a neck of that. This, I'm not sure what this is, or it's pretty hard. I'm thinking it's cherry. I think it's a pretty nice piece of cherry. I'm not too sure about the way the grain goes, whether that would be good for a neck or not. But that could be used. One of the things I was thinking was maybe doing a multi-laminate neck. So resaw this maybe into two pieces, and maybe put some of resaw this maple. I'm not too sure. I also have this nice piece of this looks like some kind of walnut to me. I'm not good with all my wood species, but it seems to have some flame in it actually as well. I thought this might also look good in a multi-laminate neck. It's not quite long enough, so I would have to do something about a headstock, or maybe make a guitar without a headstock. I'm not sure. So at any rate, as far as necks, if I do build one, I think I'm most likely going to try with this maple board. Oh, another thing that I found was this. So let me just get these neck pieces out of the way. This is a piece that I laminated together about 5 or 6 years ago. I thought, just one day I just thought, I'm gonna make a lap steel. This looks like about right. So I had these two pieces of maple and this ash. I really like the way the ash, the figuring stripes through here. It turns out that this piece was not long enough. I didn't look up measurements or anything. I was just at the time learning how to joint and glue wood, and I thought, well, I'll do that, and maybe I can make a lap steel out of it. By the way, this was jointed using my router table, and like I say, about 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and you can see there are no gaps in that. It's very tight. It hasn't delaminated or come apart over the 6 years. It's basically been sitting out in my garage here. I don't know, you can see that up there too. So I definitely want to do something nice with this piece because it looks just great. So maybe that will work for some kind of a neck plan as well. I think it'd be really interesting just as a three-piece laminated neck with this in the middle and the maple on the outside. Let me just see, is that long enough for that? Oh yeah, definitely long enough and thick enough. So if I decide to make a neck, this is going to be it. As far as fingerboards, again, my good friend Dale Winhold, one of the nicest guys I know, and is constantly giving me wood, giving me tools. He gave me a really nice set of lathe tools when I bought my lathe. So thanks, Dale. Dale's not a player. He's a builder. He's built some really nice instruments over the years I've known him. Particularly his electric violins are pretty amazing. So check Dale out. Dale gave me, I think this looks like walnut too. This is long enough for sure to make 2 fingerboards. So I've got that if I build a neck. This, I'm not sure. It looks very similar to Purple Heart in terms of the grain and everything. Like I say, I'm not the best with my wood species, but this is also one that would be really interesting for a neck. I think it would go really well on that maple and ash sandwich I've got. And then 2 fingerboards here. Again, I don't know the species, but really nice and really smooth. And some nice figuring. So I've got options if I decide to build the neck. Another thing that was really interesting, or a lucky find in my garage, when I was going through and looking at the fingerboard blanks, I have a veneer of some of that those last 2 fingerboards. And that's going to tie in for this build very well. I was thinking of doing some kind of a flame maple veneer on the headstock of the guitar, But my plan for the headstock, I want to have something that sort of demarks the edge, you know, something that sort of outlines the edge. So this would work really well for my plan. So you may see this in my build on the headstock. The more I look at this, the more I think this would just be great right as the headstock veneer. So we'll see about that. This will probably turn up in the guitar build. Like I said, though, I'm in the kit build because I'm not really too sure how well I would do on building a neck. So I do have a kit neck in hand for this project. This is from Solo Music Gear here in Canada, over in Ontario. I learned about these guys through Brad Angove, who is he was in the last two GGBOs. I haven't looked to see if he's in it this year, but Brad Angove lives in the same city as I do, and I've chatted with him. Facebook chatted with him a couple of times, and we have some common acquaintances and friends, it turns out. Anyway, I've been watching Brad Angove's videos, and he turned me on to the Solo Music Gear kit guitars through his videos. I've never built a whole kit from them. I've built a lot of parts casters. That's kind of been the thing that I've done in the past in terms of building guitars. And most of my guitars are either parts casters that I built or factory guitars that I've rebuilt. I have several Fender guitars. I have an old Yamaha guitar, a few things like that. But the guitars that get played the most are my parts casters. So I'm really comfortable with that part of building. So I'm happy. I'm comfortable with how I think this is going to go. And I just thought I would try this Solo Guitars neck. They weren't too expensive, relatively speaking. The finishing is pretty good. It's not total finished yet. It still needs some sanding. There's a little bit of fret sprout, and it will need to be leveled, crowned, and polished. And of course, the headstock needs to be shaped. I have that design ready already as well. You won't see it in this video. It'll come up when I start working on the neck. But this neck feels really nice. It's sort of, it's basically a modern C. I'm a real fan of V-necks, but if I don't have a V-neck, a C-neck, actually over the last few years, C-necks have started to feel really comfortable to me, and this is a really nice one. This is the most likely thing you will see on that guitar. Like I say, hopefully, you know, if I get the time, I'll try doing a neck, and maybe that'll turn out nice too. So that's the neck. So in terms of the design of the guitar, I know the shape that I want. It's based on a guitar I reshaped. So a number of years ago, I was going back and forth between here and Vancouver to a summer thing where a bunch of musicians get together and study with more advanced musicians. And my brother was teaching in that. A good friend of mine, Michael Friedman, was teaching in that. I wasn't teaching, but I went just sort of as a getaway to hang out with Michael and my brother for that week. And so I took Michael's class. So at any rate, I was traveling back and forth in the summers, and I was going on the plane a lot, and I for some reason at that time, that was when the whole United Breaks Guitars thing was happening, and I got really concerned about taking one of my good guitars, which I had been doing. So I asked my brother, who has built some really amazing basses, I said, could you just build me a really roughly a Telecaster shaped body? Just leave it really rough. I just want it to look like somebody hacked it out with a whittling knife or something. And so he did that, and I put that guitar together, and that's what I used going back and forth. It had a really nice feeling neck, still does have a nice feeling neck on it, same one. But at one point I ended up playing that guitar so much, and it just felt a little too big and clunky, and I thought, I need to get better at my woodworking, so I'm going to reshape this body. I'll show you some pictures of it originally and what it is now, if I can find them. Originally, like I say, it was like a really rough Telecaster sort of shape, and it was left not sanded. The edges were all, like I say, it looked as if somebody had hacked it out of wood. It was really interesting, but I outgrew that look. So I call this guitar the Mutt, And here's what I ended up reshaping it to. I've taken the pickups out. I wanted to put them in another guitar. But this is the mutt. This is the shape I'm going for. So still roughly Telecaster-ish. It's a little bit narrower, a little bit smaller this way. It's a very comfortable, a very small feeling body. This one is a bolt-on. I've always wondered, why couldn't you, if you had a tight enough neck pocket on a Fender style guitar, why couldn't you just glue the neck in? Why did they have to be bolted on? I love bolt-on guitars. It doesn't bother me. I just thought, well, why couldn't you do that? And of course, watching some of Ben's videos, he said there's no reason you can't do that. So I am going to glue the neck in. So basically doing a set neck when I do the guitar. Obviously, I won't have the pick guard on here. I kind of like this pick guard. It's purely ornamental. It doesn't really do the job of a pick guard at all. But I just kind of liked that shape or the look of that on the guitar. So this is the shape I'm building. Obviously, I'll have the flame maple top. I'm going to have everything be rear mounted. So pickups, of course, will be top mounted. Probably no pickup rings though, no pickup surrounds. And I don't want a control cover on the front. I want to feature that maple as much as possible. So the controls will be rear mounted, pickups will be mounted from the top. Hardware is a little bit up in the air right now. I don't have to make that decision right now. I have a really interesting bridge. It's actually a really cheap bridge, but really interesting looking that I bought a couple of months ago, which I may use on it. And as I was going through my things looking for what could I build, I'm trying to do this with things I have lying around because I have tons of parts. Over the years, I just collect them. It's what I do. I found some Waverly style open back tuners that look just awesome. I don't even remember now why I bought them. I remember buying them, but don't remember why. So I may put those on. The one thing is those are gold. I'm not a big fan of gold hardware. I have one guitar with gold hardware, two guitars with gold hardware. They both look great with it. But in general, I like a more meat and potatoes looking kind of guitar. This guitar is going to be a little bit more fancy, so the gold might work. So I haven't decided 100% on the hardware. I will be going with a single volume control, a single tone control. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put P90s in it. I'm not 100% decided. If I do, I will wind those myself. I wind pickups as well. If I don't put two P90s in, and I'm really leaning heavy towards that. I've always wanted a guitar with two P90s. I used to have an Axis that I just loved that had P90s. So that's probably what I'll put in, and I'll probably wind them myself. But I may decide to do sort of the Nashville Supercaster kind of thing, just like on the mutt here with a humbucker and two single coils. We'll see how that goes over time. So what else can I say about this guitar build? Oh yes, in terms of cutting the guitar, I do have a template that I had made for that guitar. I actually did this template so that I could draw it out when I was reshaping the original guitar. So I still have that template to work with. I'm going to, as I say, glue the neck in, so the neck heel will be probably sculpted. I also want to put an arm carve on it and a belly carve. So again, if I decide to chamber it, the arm carve and belly carve may change that decision, or maybe I'll just chamber it just on the lower bout. We'll see how that goes. So I have the template that I can work from, and I can route around to get a nice clean shape. I'm debating on that. I may actually rough cut it. I don't have a good bandsaw, so I will be cutting this with my jigsaw and then sanding, final sanding on my rigid sander. And I have palm sander. I have options for sanding. But what I may do is just trace out this template, rough cut it with my my jigsaw, and then just eyeball sand it. I kind of like the idea of having every guitar sort of be unique. So We'll see. I may do it on the router table and get it to exactly this shape, or I may just decide, hey, I'm gonna wing it and sort of sculpt it more. I'm leaning toward that right now. For sure, I'm going to have the arm comfort carve and the belly carve on it. That's one thing. I like Telecasters a lot, but I don't like the blockiness. So the carves will be nice. The other thing that I'll show you is what I'm planning to do with setting the neck in. I call this guitar New Boy. This is a guitar, again, my brother built the neck. His friend Brad Pearson built the body. And then my brother put the whole thing together. And through a set of circumstances, it's got some complex wiring, and he just couldn't sort out that wiring and basically said, do you want this guitar? And I said, sure. If you check my YouTube channel, I'm going to be building him an amp, that's my thing. That's what I do. So I'll be building an amp for him on my YouTube channel and sending that out. Actually, I'm going to be building 3 at one time. So eat your heart out, Ben. I don't know if you've built 3 guitars at one time, but there's a challenge for you. Anyway, New Boy, this guitar, I got it, and it's pretty much a straight ahead Strat, pickups and whatnot withstanding. But this guitar, when I got it, immediately felt so awesome to play, and especially high up. I don't go up to the dusty end a whole lot. I have these big fat sausage fingers, and this guitar just felt so good to play up that high, and I started wondering why. And I took a look at it, and what it is it's the neck joint. It joins at about the 17th fret. Most Fender styles join at about the 16th fret. So it's shifted back just a little bit, and it just makes it full access, really easy to play up here. I don't even notice the heel when I'm playing up there. So my guitar will be set so that basically the heel ends at about the 17th fret. Some wind wiggling in the door. And some other things I like about this guitar, I like the way that the end of the neck is shaped here. Rather than having the typical, Fender where it comes out around here and it's a little bit blockier, this is carved basically right to here. So it's very comfortable up here. Also, because I'm gluing the neck in on mine, I will be changing the shape of the heel and probably sculpting the heel down a little bit for better access. So that's my initial plans for the GGBO build. I'm not going to draw out any specific plans. Like I say, I've got a template I can work from. I've got a guitar I can work from. I kind of tend to do woodwork the way I cook, which is by smell. It's just, if this smells good, it goes in. If that smells good, it goes in. And that's the way I'm planning on doing this guitar. If it's a disaster, there's always next year. So thanks for watching today. Thanks for sticking to the end of this. And if you have any comments, advice, Jag, you're a butthead, you didn't consider this, please leave comments on the video or on the GGBO forum. I definitely pay attention to that kind of thing and respond. This is a general plan for the body shape. Like I say, the plans for the hardware, the electronics, all of those things, I haven't made a final decision yet. I don't need to yet. Like I say, I'm an amp builder as well. And I have a series of an amp build series that I'm doing. At the same time I'm doing this, like I don't have too many things to do already. So I will be sort of alternating between those two things, doing the amp building, doing the GGBO build. Right now it's early April. This is basically my first day out in my garage wood shop. We're in northern Canada. And this is the first sort of nice day. It was supposed to get up to 19 today. I think it's only about 16 or 17, but it's just warm enough to be comfortable in here. A few weeks ago, we were still in the minus 30s. So first day I could get in the shop, it's early April. So basically I've still got 6 months. So my next video, what I'll be doing is joining those body blanks, gluing them together, and maybe doing the rough shaping as well. I may have decided that I'm going to build a neck at that time as well, so I may be addressing that on the next video. Not making any promises, but we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching today. Please give me comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Like and subscribe. I appreciate that. And looking forward to see what everybody else does.